The United States has been facing a growing debt problem for several decades, and it is now reaching a critical point. The debt limit was reached in 2021, and since then, the government has been using extraordinary measures to continue borrowing. The continued growth of the debt is a major concern because it can lead to a debt crisis, which can have severe consequences for the economy and the citizens. The problem of the growing debt is not new, and it has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has increased government spending and reduced revenue. The pandemic has also led to a decline in economic activity and increased unemployment, which has further reduced revenue. To address the debt crisis, the government must take a comprehensive approach that addresses both the short-term and long-term factors contributing to the debt. In the short term, the government must focus on reducing spending and increasing revenue. This can be done by cutting programs that are not essential, increasing taxes, and controlling the cost of healthcare. The government must also focus on promoting economic growth and job creation, which will increase revenue and reduce the need for government spending. In the long term, the government must focus on structural reforms that will help control the growth of the debt and protect the economy. The government must address the root causes of the debt, such as the aging population, rising healthcare costs, and declining economic growth. To address these root causes, the government must implement reforms that will improve the efficiency and sustainability of the healthcare system, increase economic growth, and promote workforce development. The healthcare system is a major contributor to the debt, and it must be reformed to reduce its impact on the debt. The government must find ways to control the cost of healthcare and reduce its impact on the debt. This can be done by implementing reforms, such as increasing competition and transparency, and encouraging the use of generic drugs. The government must also address the aging population, which is increasing the demand for healthcare services and contributing to the growth of the debt. To increase economic growth, the government must invest in education, research and development, and infrastructure. The government must also create a business-friendly environment that encourages innovation and entrepreneurship. The government must also promote workforce development, which will increase the productivity and competitiveness of the economy. The citizens must also play a role in addressing the debt crisis. They must be aware of this issue and advocate for responsible and sustainable policies that will help lower the debt and protect the economy. The citizens must also be willing to make sacrifices and support policies that will help lower the debt and protect the economy. In conclusion, the United States has reached its debt limit, and this is a warning that should not be ignored. The government must take a comprehensive approach that addresses both the short-term and long-term factors contributing to the debt. This will require difficult choices and sacrifices, but it is necessary for the future of the country. The citizens must also play a role in addressing the debt crisis, and they must be aware of this issue and advocate for responsible and sustainable policies that will help lower the debt and protect the economy. Furthermore, the United States government must also work on reducing the budget deficit. The budget deficit is the difference between the government's spending and its revenue, and it contributes to the growth of the debt. To reduce the budget deficit, the government must reduce its spending and increase its revenue. The government can reduce its spending by cutting programs that are not essential and implementing reforms that will make the programs more efficient. The government can also reduce its spending by reducing subsidies and tax breaks and by controlling the cost of healthcare. The government must also find ways to reduce the cost of government operations and reduce waste. The government can increase its revenue by increasing taxes, especially on the wealthiest citizens and corporations. The government can also increase its revenue by reducing tax loopholes and by closing offshore tax havens. The government must also find ways to increase economic growth and job creation, which will increase revenue and reduce the need for government spending. Another solution to the debt crisis is to increase the efficiency of the government. The government can become more efficient by reducing waste and streamlining operations. The government can also increase its efficiency by using technology, such as digital services and data analytics, to improve its operations and reduce costs. The United States must also address the root causes of the debt crisis, such as the aging population and rising healthcare costs. The government must find ways to control the cost of healthcare, increase economic growth, and promote workforce development. The government must also find ways to address the aging population, such as by increasing the retirement age and implementing reforms that will make the healthcare system more efficient and sustainable. The debt crisis in the United States is a call to action, and it is up to each and every one of us to play our part in finding a solution. This crisis presents a unique opportunity for the country to come together, to address the underlying causes of the problem, and to implement comprehensive solutions that will lead to long-term stability and growth. It is important for citizens to educate themselves about the debt crisis and to advocate for responsible and sustainable policies that will help to reduce the debt and protect the economy. We must also be willing to make sacrifices, whether it be through reducing our own spending, paying a little more in taxes, or supporting government policies that may not always be popular. By working together, we can show the world that the United States is a country that is willing to take on its challenges and to find solutions that will benefit all. For the government, this means being willing to make difficult choices and to implement reforms that may be politically unpopular but are necessary for the long-term health of the country. It means being transparent about the state of the economy and the impact of government policies, and it means being open to feedback from citizens and businesses. The government must also lead by example, by reducing waste and inefficiencies, and by finding ways to increase revenue in a fair and sustainable manner. For businesses, this means being responsible corporate citizens and being willing to pay their fair share of taxes. It also means investing in the country, in its people, and in its future. By creating jobs, boosting the economy, and paying taxes, businesses can help to reduce the debt and secure a sustainable future for all. Finally, it is up to all of us to change the way we live and to be mindful of our spending. This means being mindful of our carbon footprint, reducing waste, and making choices that are good for both the economy and the environment. We must also be willing to invest in our own future, whether that means saving for retirement, supporting education, or investing in our health. In conclusion, the debt crisis in the United States is a challenge, but it is also an opportunity. By working together and by making responsible choices, we can overcome this crisis and secure a brighter future for all. The time to act is now, and we must all do our part to ensure the sustainability and prosperity of our great country.